Spotify has acquired both Gimlet Media and Anchor. And I do want to also point out that Spotify came out and said that they will spend $500 million to grow their podcasting business this year. Now, a little bit more information about these transactions. Spotify bought Gimlet for an estimated $230 million, which is an insane amount of money for a podcast production house who have made podcasts like Homecoming, which is now an Amazon original, I believe, and then they make other shows that I am not aware of. I am sure they are very high quality considering the price that they paid for them, but they are a podcast production house with studios, with everything associated with that. But as far as the Anchor acquisition, it wasn't disclosed how much they paid for it. I heard on the New Media show that it was estimated maybe $25 or $50 million, and that is really all the information we have there. So, first, I want to share my thoughts on the Gimlet acquisition. And I think this is likely going to mean that Gimlet shows are going to be exclusive to Spotify for a set amount of time. And then after that set amount of time elapses, then they will be distributed to all other podcast platforms. This is a model that places like Earwolf currently do with their premium shows like Freedom. I believe they are just now releasing the episodes from Freedom that came out a year ago. So the release for the public, unless you pay that premium, is a year late. So this won't work if there is any kind of time-sensitive material. It is going to have to be evergreen content if they do use this strategy. Now, this concerns me because of what we've been seeing with the amount of subscription services coming out that have exclusive content. What I mean there is it seems like we're seeing a growing number of television networks coming out with their standalone streaming services. You got AMC, I believe they have one. You got CBS, that's the main one, CBS All Access with Star Trek. And then they got The Twilight Zone, which, oh my God, it's Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. They may make me sign up for it. But we're seeing more television networks come out with their standalone subscription services. And then you have movie companies, movie studios like Disney coming out with Disney All Access or whatever the heck it's called, where if you want access to stream these Disney films, now you can't pay for Netflix. Now you have to pay Disney directly. It is just this constant segregation of these content providers where they each want a piece of the pie, meaning you as a content consumer, I guess, have to pay each of these content creation companies and platforms to get access to it rather than one aggregate like Netflix initially was. So with that being said, what's next here? Are we going to start to see podcast networks having their own standalone subscription-based streaming services like we have with Earwolf? Or, I can't imagine Spotify is paying $200 million for the sake of creating podcasts and then just putting it everywhere. I can't imagine that $200 million is going to be paid off in ad revenue. I imagine they are hoping that this will lead to people signing up for Spotify Premium to get access to these high-quality shows, or at least I am hoping that they are high-quality shows considering the price that they paid. Or what about record labels? That's something that I was thinking about. Do you think that we'll start to see record labels creating their own streaming services where if you want access to all the Frank Sinatra, you gotta sign up for RCA Records streaming service or Capitol Records or whatever it was? I don't even know. Do you think we'll start to see that? It seems like there is so much money in getting people to sign up for your individual streaming platform that more and more people are starting to do that, or more and more companies, rather, are starting to do that. And now it seems like it is really starting to make its way into podcasting, which kind of is disheartening. I liked the whole podcast, F you, this is punk, we're going to do it for free, we're going to tell everybody to F themselves, that whole mentality, and now it's becoming very corporate, which is somewhat disappointing. However, I should point out that I think it's good that a company is investing so much money in the podcast market because that's good. If there's people putting money into podcasting, unlike Apple not really investing in podcasting, I think there is room for improvement. I think there's room for innovation. And Spotify may be the company who leads to that innovation because they are investing so heavily in it. We will have to wait and see. I want to hear from you there, though. Now, as far as Anchor, this is going to be a bit of a rant. I apologize. I didn't think I had very strong opinions on this, and then I was in a voice chat. Turns out I have a lot of opinions on this. The only reason that I can see Anchor being acquired really is because of advertising. What I mean there is they've developed a platform or a system that allows them to dynamically insert host-read advertisements, which seems pretty cool because there have been people talking about dynamically inserted ads in podcasts, but it has all been pre-recorded radio-style ads, which nobody gives a crap about. The reason why ads in podcasts seem to work so well is because it is host-read. It has that personal touch to it. They have the relationship with the host, and the host is telling them about this product that they believe in or think that the listener would want. So that is why I think they were likely acquired. But regardless of that, this entire thing, the acquisition of Anchor and my distaste for Anchor has led me to think a lot about how I don't like the current state of the startup marketplace. What I mean there is it seems like there's so little focus on sustainability, meaning companies seem to start up just in order to get acquired. Companies are no longer starting because they believe in something and want to run a company for the rest of their life and leave something for their kids because they think it's a viable option. It's a good thing for the entire marketplace. It just seems like, hey, let's go ahead and start up a company to get acquired by Google or one of these big companies, one of the big three. In this case, not one of the big three, but Spotify. That seems to be the current state of the startup market. This is completely from somebody outside of it, though, so I could be completely wrong. Maybe there are those people who are starting up companies and saying, this is what I believe in, I'm not going to sell no matter what. And you don't hear about those because it's not sexy to write a story about somebody just making a company and running it forever. What's sexy is, oh my God, this company that just started up got sold for millions and millions of dollars. So maybe I'm just completely in the wrong here. But I guess to elaborate on this a little bit more, what I mean is when a company starts up and they get that venture capital or those angel investors, they have this influx of money, and all they need to do initially is to show growth and show potential for the first few years, which when you have that influx of tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, probably isn't that difficult. For instance, with Anchor, they were paying a $10 CPM to podcasters to have ads on their show. That sounds amazing, right? Oh my God, I can't believe that Anchor has got this dynamic ad insertion and they've brought on advertisers to pay you to read their ads on your show. Do you know who those advertisers were? It was Anchor. Anchor was taking the venture capital money or the angel investor money or whatever startup money they had, and then using that money to pay people to read ads on their show. Do you know what that did? That made a lot of brand new podcasters think, oh my God, I can make money with this. This is going to be the way that I make my millions podcasting. So they start a show on Anchor because that's where this dynamic ad insertion is. Then they realize, oh wow, I'm only getting 50 or 100 downloads per episode. I guess I am not going to become a millionaire podcaster, and they stop. But that sign up shows a big growth in their service, so they can inflate their growth numbers and their subscriber and their user numbers to show these Spotifys, these potential acquirers. I don't know what would the name there be. The potential companies that want to buy them and say, look how much we've been growing. But I don't know what those meetings were like. Maybe they didn't say, the reason we're growing so much is we are advertising on our own platform, paying people $10 for every 1,000 views. Is that sustainable? Probably not. You can't just earn money from ads that are your own ads, if that makes any sense. So the only money that was coming in, seemingly, was from Anchor paying themselves from ads. That makes no sense. So maybe Anchor will become the YouTube of podcasting. I don't know. But they certainly need to get other advertisers besides themselves on the platform that will be willing to pay a $10 CPM. But here's something that will be an issue for them. They may be running into issues with controversial content. That whole thing that YouTube got into trouble with their advertisers, that problem that YouTube, the biggest video platform on the internet, backed by one of the largest companies in the world, was unable to solve? That whole thing? Yeah, Anchor is apparently going to solve it. Advertisers won't have a problem with it. Yeah, you can go ahead and put ads on all your shows. Who cares what the content is? That's going to come back and bite you in the butt real quick. If YouTube can't figure it out, I highly doubt that Anchor would be able to figure it out. How are they going to sort through and understand all the content that's being uploaded to their platform and say, okay, this is advertiser friendly, this is not advertiser friendly? I highly doubt they will do a better job at that than Google, meaning they will have to just say, okay, nobody under 10,000 downloads is going to be able to advertise. And then all those people who signed up for Anchor for the dynamic ad insertion because they thought, this is how I can make money, now don't earn money. Do you see the problem here? Do you see the problem? They are artificially inflating the numbers with this $10 CPM advertising for everybody because that is what people want when they start podcasting. They want to earn a crap ton of money. That's my take on it. So, maybe Anchor can do it. Maybe they will become the YouTube of podcasting. I don't know. I am just very reluctant or very skeptical of them. I do hope they succeed, though, because that would be awesome. Podcasting does need the YouTube of podcasting.